Hi, my name's Lauren Rojas, and I did my report on Freud's psychosexual stages of development. So, the reason I wanted to study this theory was because we did get to read a little bit about it in our textbooks, and we did get the main idea. However, I wanted to dig a little deeper in how Freud came up with this idea or what his influence was. And what I found out was, Freud wasn't a psychologist. He was a medical doctor because there wasn't really anything for psychology in those days. So you start to understand what he really did for psychology, or the time that he was living in, how that really influenced the stages. So for the ethical issue, Freud wasn't attacking one ethical group. He just left out women, and he left out anyone who isn't heterosexual. All these stages were based off of men. There was hardly anything about women in these stages. It was mainly for men. And where is the list for girls? Their psychosexual stages. He mentioned girls like once or twice, but it is really just revolving around men. And for homosexuals, or any sexuality for that instance, he was leaving them out completely. In the genital stage, which is the last stage, he talks about how you should be in a normal relationship, and he means heterosexual, a man and a woman. And that's leaving out anyone who men and men, or women and women, or any sort of relationship that's just very one-minded. And then also in the phallic stage, he's talking about young children looking up to the same-sex parent and wanting to be like them. But that leaves out if the child has two moms, or if the child has two dads. How does that match up? And is he insinuating that child is going to be stuck in that stage, and it's going to scar the child for the rest of their lives, and they won't move out of that stage? And then the one way this is going to change how I act with children, or what I see in children, is that the oral stage is what really caught my attention, because that is talking about from birth to 18 months old. And at that time, if you're around those kind of children, you do see them put a lot of things in their mouth, whether it's toys, or it's their pacifier, or their bottle. They're constantly putting things in their mouth. Or if you're wearing a piece of jewelry and you're holding them, they most likely are going to try to grab it and put it in their mouth. And what Freud is telling us is that if the child does not get what they need out of that stage, then they could be stuck in that stage, and until the genital stage, which is the last stage, they could become smokers, or they could become drinkers, or they could be obsessed with kissing, is one of the examples. It is just kind of something that I think I'm always going to think about, or it's going to be in the back of my head when I see, children constantly picking up toys or random objects and putting them in their mouths. Not that I agree with the theory, but, it's just always going to be in the back of my head now. All right, and thank you so much, and that was my oral report.